All right, good to go there, Michelle?
It is loading, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem.
Okay, now we're on.
All righty. Can you please call roll?
Yes, Mr. Pahovich,
Here.
Mr. McNulty,
Here.
Mr. Dove,
Here.
Mr. Pierce,
Here.
and Ms. Alt.
Here.
All right, we have a full quorum. Before we begin, I just want to recognize this is Todd Dove and Barrett Alt's last application. So we thank them for their participation on the Zoning Commission. I believe you'll be missed. And I hope you still stay involved with the township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Should I do the swearing in of witnesses?
Please.
Okay. Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do.
I do.
And when
I
it's your
do.
turn, to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you have been sworn in. Anyone who intends to offer comments or testimony through the online chat room function also needs to be sworn in remotely. Before your initial comment, please type your name, address, and the words "I affirm" to indicate that you solemnly swear that the testimony that you are offering is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right. Michelle, did we have anything prior to having the applicant speak on the changes for rezoning? There wasn't anything that.
Well, Adam, what would you
Sorry.
make a motion to come back from recess?
Okay. Yeah. Can I get a motion to come back from recess on application ZON-20-03?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dove to come back from recess for zoning application number ZON-20-03. Second by Mr. McNulty. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Alt.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. All right. Well,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I just wanted to let the zoning commission know that we did receive a revised submittal on January 19th, 2021. I believe the commission and staff had proper time to review. I'd let the applicant open up if they want to discuss any of the changes they made based on our comments from the initial hearing. And at that point, I'll let you know if there's any public comment. And I did draft a recommendation for this evening.
Michelle, this is Andy Wecker. Do you want me to state my name for the record?
Please.
Andrew Wecker of Manus, Martin, and Pergram, 50 North Sandusky Street, Delaware, Ohio. And the would you like to start by going through your stipulations or through your memo?
I guess, well, Adam, do you have a preference on how you want to start the conversation? So I did draft a recommendation for approval, and I did have 6 stipulations on it for the board's consideration. Obviously, those can be removed or modified. Also, this was kind of a first time I tried to do this, but I colored the memo showing what I thought was fully addressed and what I thought was partially or not addressed.
Yeah, Andy, I think if you want, just, if you can, just for the board, just summarize kind of the changes you made that pertain to our comments from the last meeting. And then if you'd like, I mean, I know there's some overlap, maybe go through the stipulations and provide comment for those.
Well, I think that, some of the I'll allow to be addressed either by Todd Ferris or Miller, but, any of the things that, blue, I don't know that I need to discuss further. I did want to highlight that we add some language at the very outset with regard to Green Meadows Drive, in the sense that we don't know what the county's going to be doing on that, but I think a neighbor had raised some questions relating to that, and we'll look forward to seeing what the county does decide, and we'll cooperate with the county and the township when the time comes for that. But we're as interested to learn more as anyone else is. The rest of the comments, I think the ones that are in red, I was going to defer either to Todd Ferris, the planner, or Jeff Guggenbiller, one of the civil engineers, to speak to those.
Todd, you want to maybe run through the changes you made on the plan?
He's on mute right
Yeah.
now. Can you hear us, Todd?
I can hear you. I'm trying to find all kinds of stuff here. Sorry about that, guys. Just kind of going through the bullet points from Michelle. The third item on her list, or the first item that needed to be addressed, is that there's still a discrepancy between the parking spaces on the plan and the text. We are providing a minimum of 4 parking spaces per unit, just based off of 2 parking spaces in front of each garage plus a 2-car garage. And we have parking located on site in designated areas as well. And we will line those 2 items up to each other within the text and the exhibits. I think Exhibit A1 calls for 3 parking spaces per unit. Maybe it read that 3 was required, but we will make it marry up to that. The second item from Michelle confirmed the proposed setbacks. And it stated that the A1 is inconsistent with the development text. Just so you are all aware, what we have done based off our last hearing is to increase our rear yard setbacks on all these units. Along the north, those setbacks have gone to 25 feet. Along the Chakrov property in the center, that setback has been increased to 35 feet. Where we have units that back up to other units, before we had a 20-foot separation, we're at 40 feet now. And then where we are backing up into open space, we don't know what that rear yard setback is because they're really in the property line. So 20 foot is the minimum that we would have. But it, yeah,
I'm sorry. So for the Chakrov property, you said the rear yard is 35 feet?
35.
I don't see that on here.
It's right. It's probably on the enlargement plan. Go on the next one. Yeah, I believe the next sheet shows that if you
You're
kind of
saying.
zoom, yeah, you see that, zoom in on that, where your
Uh-huh.
cursor was.
Okay, thank you. And then I think it was the Veers property is not, that has a 20-foot setback, or these
Correct.
properties over here. So I just wanted to, I know I brought that up as a stipulation. I know the zoning commission was concerned with the rear yard setbacks based on our last discussion, and the applicant did increase them. So again, that's something we can remove in the text or in the stipulations, but I know that was a concern along the properties.
Yeah, and we did increase those, looked at how we could shift those around and made that modification. The next item was in relation to the minimum floor area to match it, which was originally approved. We have adjusted our minimum floor area to be a 1,300 square foot minimum in both sub areas. There's one section in the text, which is farther in the back, that still needs to be cleaned up. It still holds remnants of the old zoning text, and I think that's what Michelle is commenting on in her comment basically there.
That's correct.
Yeah, we need to clarify that. 6, I've just talked about in response to the setbacks. And then the next item, oops, I just lost it, guys. Here we go. Clarify and modify response to reflect what meetings and correspondence occurred for this amendment. I'll have to defer that one back to either Skip or Jim. I haven't been involved in those, and we can talk about that or go to the next 3 real quick.
Well, and just to add on that, because the language that was, that never changed in the text when you guys went through this amendment. So I didn't know if there was any different communication, or did you actually meet with all those entities and had neighborhood meetings for this amendment?
No, for this amendment, that text actually carried over from the original zoning. That's what was in there. So I don't believe there's been any other current meetings. I think they may have met with somebody late last year, but I'm not for sure. I don't know if you want to comment on that, Jim or Skip.
Yeah, I met with one of the neighbors, Mr. Chekaroff. I did meet and talk to him, but otherwise, I think that was the only meeting we've had with neighbors.
Okay. The next item on Michelle's list that's in red, which is item 12, says to provide a consistent tree line or landscape buffer along the northern side of both SFPRD East and West. And in particular, a tree line is not provided for units 115 to 124. That was intentional. That land behind those units is already developed, is already at SFPRD. That's the ravines at Lewis Center. And if we provided a tree buffer in that area, number one, we're blocking views from our units into that ravine area as well. There isn't any more development that's going to be happening in that area either. So we didn't think that that was necessary. We did put it on the other units, knowing that piece of property is still under, just a FR1 designation, will probably be developed, and that made sense, but that's why we didn't do it on those units 115 through 124, and we would hope that the Planning Commission would agree with us on that synopsis. But it's I don't know if Michelle can zoom in a little bit farther on those lots. But there is a ravine that's just to the north of that, and it'd be a shame to block a view of such a beautiful feature in that area, since it's always going to remain open space. Item 13, provide the proposed setbacks for the monument signs and the development plan and text. The text wasn't updated. We did update the plans. I believe it, I don't remember the exact numbers. It was like 22 feet in one area and like 18 in the other, but we will add that to the zoning text as well.
And just for the record, both of this monument signs comply with our sign standards, so.
And that's important. Thank you.
Yes.
Then overall, the 14 was to lessen the amount of divergences requested. I think we reduced them some, but there's just a certain amount of them that we're going to have to ask for, given this product type compared to the traditional single family. But that kind of goes over the modifications that we made to the plans and the text and the comments that Michelle had brought forward from our last meeting. I don't know, Andy, if you have other things to add?
No, other than, the 6 stipulations, one of them related to the tree line you just discussed.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, obviously one of the stipulations we'd like to have removed.
Does
Item
that,
number
hey,
5.
Todd, does that map show, I don't know how current that is regarding how far away that development is, the Epcon development? It's not up to that property line because they have a ravine there as well, correct?
That's correct. They're, and I'm going totally from memory, but I know we were putting dimensions on the backs of those units of 200 and some odd feet from the nearest unit to that southern property line being this property
Okay.
line.
All
So, I mean, Yeah.
It's a significant
Yeah.
distance.
And it's a beautiful ravine too. That's, and it's.
Yeah, I don't
since it's
know that
only-
we need trees to block trees.
Exactly. It's already treed. So.
Yeah.
So if the commission's all right with that, I'm happy to strike that out as part of the stipulations for the recommendation.
I'm personally okay with taking it out.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
I'm okay too.
One other item I didn't touch on is we needed to add a secondary access on that far eastern property as well, based off of comments from the fire department. So we did that, and sorry, dog. But in so doing that, we also ended up losing a lot to do that as well.
I wondered why that was the case. Thank you.
Yeah, because they wanted 2 ways into that property. So we provided that, and the only way to do that was to omit a lot. Or not a lot, but a unit.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks, Todd and Andy. I guess at this time we can open up for comments from the board.
So we talked about the 4 parking spaces per unit. I'm assuming, and I didn't see any dimensions, that we have 20 feet from the front of the garage to the inside face of the sidewalk.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I think there's still some text regarding number of, some say 2-car garage maximum, some say 2-car minimum, some say a 2-car garage. I'm assuming it's a 2-car garage.
That's our intent, and we can go through and make sure that all jives. I thought we caught it, but there might
Yeah,
be.
there were 3 different items.
Yeah, they made it real complicated to begin with. So yeah, we got to go through it again and again and again, and you just find something else every time. But
Then I think we have a stipulation or there's something about the 40-foot height on page 38. And I believe that was for the walkout basement units.
that is correct.
Does that really need to be a stipulation, Michelle? Because I always thought we took the height from the front 15 feet from the stoop or something like that, so we didn't have to worry about walkout basements. Or did I dream that?
I thought your code said 15 feet out from the highest portion of the building. If it says the other one, then yeah, we don't need it. But that's our concern, is that our walkout units might exceed that 40 feet or get to 40 feet. But we did review your code, and I think it didn't specify that it was the front.
Yeah, it just says from finished grade. And that not closer than 15 feet to the exterior wall of the structure.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're wanting to also define that as being at the structure, because obviously these units that are backing up to the ravines, the ground is still falling away from the unit.
Right.
So I can't tell you where it is 15 feet from the unit.
And just to go back on the garages, that you are proposing to have a maximum of a 2-car garage. There would not be 3-car garages allowed.
That is what that's what we've discussed internally as a team, and I question that myself, but that's what they want to do, is limit it to 2-car.
Well, there will be a 2-car garage. It's not a maximum, because that would allow them to do a 1-car garage. There will be a 2-car garage.
Correct. Everything will have a 2-car garage, a minimum and maximum of 2.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think. I would prefer to be consistent in the text. So, I mean, should we say, a maximum of 2-car garages? Do
you guys really care if there's a 3-car garage in there? From a planning commission standpoint?
I don't know how you're going to do your setbacks, but.
True, but it's just, yeah.
I think it might be better to say minimum. That way you're guaranteed a 2-car garage. And the reality is, I don't know how they can fit a 3-car garage, but But if there's a minimum, you know you're gonna at least have two, and if it's more than two, they're gonna have to meet the setbacks.
And there would never be a single car garage then? That's not,
Correct.
okay. And then the 2-car garage plus the 2 spaces on your driveway would satisfy the 4 parking space requirement anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah, I'd prefer to just say that we'd have a minimum of 2. And just strike anything about the 3.
On page 13, it says units shall be restricted to 2-car garages maximum.
I know that, and that's what I was asking your guys' opinion, if
Yeah.
that mattered to you. Because we do have some of those corner lots that are kind of pretty big that technically you could put a 3rd car on them. Not that they offer them, but it's possible. And we're fine with keeping it at 2 also. I'm just bringing that up.
These are condos, right?
Correct. Yes, they are.
Boy, that really pushes things. You have 3-car garage for a condo, but
It does. Yeah, I don't see it happening, but
Yeah, I think the 2-car garage maximum is reasonable.
okay.
That's what you had. I recommend.
Yeah. We'll just, we'll phrase it. We'll get Andy to say that, I don't know what it is, minimum and maximum, or just a 2-car, just a
Yeah.
2-car garage. That says it all.
And where did we end up with density, Todd? 2 point, what was it, 07, 2 point?
It's right in that range. It went down a little bit before. It was 2.08. I think it dropped down to that 2.07 or so with the loss of that unit.
Okay. And that's taking the entire property, obviously.
That's correct.
Okay.
I would like to point out the rear yard setback stipulation. I am not sure if the commission is concerned with that at all. But for the west portion, it's a 25-foot setback along the northern properties. But for the east portion, it's proposed as a 20-foot setback. Is that of any concern?
what is behind those? What is going in behind those condos with that 20-foot setback? Is that just open property for now?
The bigger portion in the center is, there might be an existing residence to the very north on that image that Michelle has up there right now.
Yeah, I thought there was an existing single-family residence up there.
I don't know why we would require 35 feet everywhere else, and then this would be 20.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's been the standard for Orange Township, and I think there has to be a real reason for this to be 20 foot.
Yeah, we can, that one along that northern portion there where that existing house is, I think that could easily be made a 25-foot setback to match what we did on the rest as well.
I think the ones next to the ravine where that's going to be open property forever, that to me is not a problem, but anything that backs up to additional residential properties, that could be an issue.
Okay.
Those aren't going to be single-family homes for very much longer.
No, I don't think so. They're on the market now, so.
Okay, so just so I understand, this, oh man, I can't zoom on this. How do I do? Sorry, I wanted to make a note on this.
Yeah, I don't know what units those are there, but those 10 units up there or whatever, yeah, we can increase that to a 25-foot rear yard.
I mean, personally, I'd like to see those at 35. So since we're abutting an adjacent property, my feeling is if we want to jam them in because that's the product that we're doing and we're not doing side yard setbacks, but I don't know why we have to affect every adjoining property with a rear yard that's less than 35.
I agree, Todd. I'm in your camp.
So Todd, Ferris, let me ask this. If the ones that we're looking at here, because I think on the other side, they're 25 already, so that would just be another 10 feet. But if doing another 15 feet on these, I guess 85 or 77 through 85, that would still allow for those to be functional, correct? I mean, it's not going to reduce that building footprint enough that, it's going to be in jeopardy of being, under the minimal square footage or anything like that.
The 10 foot, the 15 foot will. Yeah, because it will. Now, at that point, it would be looking at, reconfiguring some of the units to omit those on the periphery to scoot those down, to do that. On the other side, where you're talking where we have 25 foot right now, if we went to 35 feet on that, we would start losing units because of our proximity to to our internal ravines as well. So we push those about as far as we can get those.
The ones next to the ravine, I don't really see that. I don't have as much a problem with, but the reason for the setbacks was to keep those distances between the properties. That was one of the things that was the standard for Orange Township.
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at that and see how that affects us. I know it's going to eat into open space.
I can see your plan. No, I understand that. That's a big deal if we ask for something a lot greater than the 20 foot that's there.
What if they did 25, just be consistent with the west side?
25, I think we can get to work with minimal heartache for sure. Again, it might decrease our open space slightly, but it's so slight that you're talking a tenth of an acre. And that I think we can agree to.
And there is a tree line proposed all along this too, correct?
Correct.
Originally, you said the additional 15 would certainly be a challenge. Is there, if the middle of 10 more feet, is that and I know the 5 you said it's a push, but if you did 10, is that going to require a substantial? I mean, I guess I'm just trying to come as close to
right
it was as possible, but.
And our engineer was having trouble getting on here tonight. Again, it's yeah, that's really putting me on the spot here. 5 I know is doable. 10 is pushing it, but it's definitely much easier than the 15. The 15.
What are the side yard setbacks for these condos?
12 and a half, 12 or 12 and a half, I believe. 12.
Between each building, it's not the 25 foot that we.
Correct. It's between each building. Yes.
12 and a half feet. So it's half of what our typical standard is.
Correct.
Yep.
I mean, obviously from my end, 25 makes a lot of sense, but you guys have to make that decision for yourselves and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go back through the last submittal because I don't recall was on not this side, but on the other side at the north end where it's showing 25 foot building setback now. Was that?
That was 20. Yeah,
that was 20. So that increased to 25. Okay. And without having to go through all these comments, was 25 what was requested? Michelle, do you recall? Is that what we were asking for in the last?
Yeah, I was trying to go back through my notes, and I know I just remember being discussed the rear yard setbacks were a concern, and I know there was a resident that was concerned with the landscaping screening, which the applicant is complying to aside from those few units. That was something I added to the 25 feet as a stipulation, as I staff thought that could be a come to an agreement to make it consistent on both the west and the east side. But the rear yard was discussed at the last meeting.
Yeah, I remember. I just don't know exactly what was said. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if we were in agreement that 25 on the other side was acceptable, I mean, I guess on this side, I don't necessarily see that being a problem if we just match what's shown here on this this area. So it would just match across to the other side at 25. But I mean, I don't know what's the rest of the board feel if
I mean, Dennis knows more about this than anybody, probably, how many people we've had come in that want a swimming pool and they have to go in front of BZA because they don't have 35 feet.
Yeah.
And now we're allowing a whole neighborhood to come in at less than 35 feet.
Well, they'll have their own community swimming pool though. The clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm not talking about this development. I'm talking about every other residential development in Orange Township.
Right,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah.
Michelle, do you have any idea what the 23 corridor setbacks require?
So this is different because the corridor overlay district doesn't allow for any detached.
No, I get that, but I guess I'm asking the question kind of based on consistency because there will be a lot of other developments like this that are going to be in 23 corridor. Are we asking something for them to be something greater than 20 as different than what the 23 corridor overlay is going to be?
Yes, because those are mainly considered commercial type uses. So, I think abutting residential is, I think it's a 50-foot setback. So,
wasn't there just a residential that on Owen Field that was in that 23 corridor?
well, that's
Yeah.
multifamily building. So if it's multifamily or commercial, it has a 50-foot setback.
Okay. So there won't be any
It's more
projects.
for the high intensity uses, I would
Okay,
say.
so there won't be any projects like this in the 23 overlay?
No.
No. Okay.
I think the courtyards at Clear Creek might be the most similar one that we've recently done. I know the Lewis Center Ravines, but is just to the north, but they had environmental restraints, so their setback is significantly larger. But I can see what Clear Creek's were, but
And do you know what the setbacks were on that Epcon project? It's right there. I think it's near 23. And
well, that's Clear Creek. So that's what I was thinking is probably the most similar.
that's what I'm thinking, looking at this.
Mm-hmm. Because I think, again, that's the popular product that we can tell that's what the market wants. And Epcon is popular in this community, which is why I keep referring to them. But let me see what they did.
So I know those are both single family and condos. That's a multi-use, I believe, right?
They're
It's two different
how do I say
projects.
it? Thank you. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it was two different. It was a single family district and a commercial district because we
Okay.
don't have the overlay district wasn't in place, so we didn't have a mixed use zone for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, this goes back to Todd Dove's comment, I think from the last meeting is, our zoning code doesn't really have a section or, for this type of development. And that's where I think, this makes this project pretty unique. But, the one thing I think we all have to be careful about is, if this is granted at 25, which we know the popularity of these type of developments is something that, the next applicant's going to look at, and they're more than likely going to, say, hey, well, we saw this was 25. Why can't we, and now
absolutely.
without a hardship, where, well, that case was unique because of X. That's where I think it's going to be a hard argument for us to say to someone else, well, yeah, we granted that, but this is why. And then, looking at these plans, I mean, I know Todd Ferris, what you're saying, and I'm looking at the what is this? I mean, Michelle just had it up, but I think it's sheet A 1.2. I get we're working against an existing stream and detention, stormwater detention and things like that. But, to me, it looks like that whole north end part can just shift down that extra 10 feet, or, even just a portion of it. And I'm not saying how to design it. I'm just saying it looks like, it's possible to get that extra 10 feet on that side. Now, looking at this side here that Michelle has up, is maybe more difficult without having to compromise some of the units. So, I mean, I guess where I'm getting is, we have to look at this as, even in the future as well, and make sure that we're not, creating a new standard or something. And really, since we don't have a good zoning code in place now for this type of property, is 25 going to be acceptable for a minimum?
Yeah, I just quickly pulled up one of the drawings from the Lewis Center Ravine as we were talking, and that had two separate setbacks on that. It was 25 feet to the east. And if I remember right, that might have been the person that sold the ground to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then 35 to the west, because those were the people that wanted a greater buffer. So we had both scenarios on that one property.
Yeah. And I think that's where Dennis was getting at, is he was trying to reference, more recent projects to see if what was granted on those as well. So I guess the question is 25 going to be acceptable, on these sides here, where it's showing as 20, and then to match the other side at 25?
The other side with the 25, isn't that where the ravine story is? Is that what's on the other side?
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The ravine side, I personally don't have an issue with. That takes care of itself.
Right.
To me, the practical reason for the setbacks was always between properties where people live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's something that has to be respected, right? It's particularly if that's been a challenge, where people live and are challenged with the setback that's I guess next to them. So I'd like to see as large as possible, of course. Yeah, so I wouldn't be 25 still seems shallow to me. I'd like to see probably 30, but to see what that looks like. I mean, I know that it may be a challenge to you guys, but as close as possible.
I without talking with the rest of the group, and they could slap me in the face if they want, I think, we can look at that and see what that does. So
I go back to Adam's comment. We've always been very careful with setting precedents.
yeah.
As we know, this is a hot item, and it's going to start going everywhere in our township. So would someone want, these groupings of homes 20 feet behind your house when you had to fight to get your swimming pool within 35 feet?
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, that's an excellent point as well. I mean,
I think I'm unwilling to set this as the new standard. We've already had other people turn us down with properties like this because we wanted something additional, and if they had to reduce their properties, they walked away. We understand that.
So are we saying then that 30 would be acceptable, or are we saying the full 35? Is that what I'm hearing?
30 is acceptable for me. I want to keep with the standard of no less than 25. I don't want to start a new standard of anything less than that personally.
Yeah, Barrett, I agree with you. I think 30 foot would be a lot better than the 20 shown here. And then on the other side at the 25 facing the ravine, it sounds like the board's okay with the 25 as it's shown. So no modification over there. but
Okay.
just on this side,
Yeah.
the north, east, and the other side, north side over here that I think Michelle had highlighted before, I think those all need to go to 30 is what I'm hearing from everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree. And I mean, honestly, if applicants decide to walk away from us because of that, so be it. That's just my personal opinion. I'm okay with that. So
Yeah, Todd and Dennis, just to make sure I understand also, because of course I haven't been here for the past one. Has the standard been 35?
The standard has been 35, and also there's always been some density issues, which we made allowances for.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we made allowances for that 35. I believe we probably had, if I'm going to just guess, but Michelle, you may know the answer to that question, whether across the street, see, I'm not sure who bought that. The one that Polte pulled out of, that was that Epcon that moved in to that.
That was Epcon, yep. Courtyards at Clear Creek.
And what, do you remember what the setbacks were those?
I think Todd indicated the east was 25 because that was the property, the property owner is still living there. And then it was 35 feet to the west.
For those were the Lewis Center ravines.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Oh, we're
It's okay.
to Clear Creek.
Clear
Yeah.
Creek, yeah, right. Yeah,
Clear Creek does have a 20-foot.
there is a
20.
20-foot.
Yeah, didn't you just had that up there, didn't you, Michelle?
Yeah, you just had Clear Creek up there. Yep. There it is.
I think those people were so happy not to have the generators of,
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
good point.
that was a very
they would have had those in their backyard, just not.
Yeah. Right. I will say, just because I know the setback is clearly the issue for this evening, but the majority, all of these parcels are within the overlay district. So if anything were to be developed around the Slate Ridge single family, they would have to comply with the overlay setbacks, which would be actually more significant than what's here. So.
And it's all zone multifamily.
It would be multifamily, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michelle. It would be 50 foot, right?
Yes.
On the perimeter. So it would be 50 plus, what we're doing here, which would be more than, I guess, normal.
Yes. It could be commercial, but.
Well, yeah, right.
Or industrial.
Could
I
be.
guess I would just ask the board when these come east to the railroad tracks in our typical neighborhoods, do you really watch these rear yard?
Yeah. I agree, Todd.
And then I think, if I'm understanding correctly, I think then 30 foot would be reasonable if that's going to be built right immediately next to it is multifamily, is zoned for multifamily. Is that correct? Is that what
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently.
It could be, it could be either multi-use, multifamily, or commercial uses.
Yeah.
But then, I think 30%, 30 foot would probably be reasonable.
We will make that adjustment on the plans. And increase that by 10.
Todd, Ferris, if you think if we made the rear yard setback 30 feet on the east side, do you think that would affect any of the other development standards? I guess I could add that as a stipulation if we want to move forward to the trustee meeting. Or are you worried
No,
about?
I don't. No, it wouldn't, because we don't want to reduce our interior side yard setbacks, obviously, to each other, because that becomes a fire code issue. So the worst case scenario is, it's going to reduce our open space a little bit, but we're so far over, I don't think that's probably a real issue. So I think we're okay. Roads may look a little different, but not much when we redo it.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
I don't have any others.
I'm
I
good.
don't either, because, you know, if we're already making some serious compromises with this, with the side yards and the
Mhm.
rears, but we have to understand that.
Yep. Les, did you have anything additional?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Michelle, I guess at this time then, have we received any public comment via the online chat room or anything?
We have not, and I usually try to send a chat on the YouTube feed just so people are aware, but I'm getting an error. So if anybody is tuning in and they were trying to comment, please email or call our zoning office and we will make sure those comments are addressed at the trustee level if something was missed. But there's only one person watching and it could be even myself. So I don't think there's any public comment this evening.
Okay.
And Andy Wecker, I don't know if you can see this screen, but are you comfortable with the way the stipulations are written?
Yeah, I saw what you just typed for SFPRD East. I saw that 6 has been added and we've stricken the one on the tree line. So that, yeah, that reflects what we've discussed tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Well then, can I get a recommendation for conditional approval for application ZON-20-03 Keebler Farms LLC with the stated stipulations?
I'll make a motion by Mr. Todd Dove to recommend to the Board of Township Trustees the conditional approval of zoning application ZON-20-03 of Kerbler Farms LLC, Kerbler Builders, the property owner requesting the amendment of plus or minus 105.76 acres of the currently affected development plan under application number 13-0305, known as the Slate Ridge Single Family Plan Residential District, SFPRD, upon finding that it is in the interest of the public convenience, comfort, prosperity, or general welfare, and is sufficiently in accordance with the comprehensive plan. Ooh, that's all new language. The version of the application to be approved consists of those materials submitted by the applicant in a hard copy binder titled Slate Ridge, the pages of which are each stamped received with Orange Township zoning above and January 19th, 2021, superimposed by Orange Township zoning. Collectively, the development plan, as modified by the stipulations listed for correction modification, the statement of stipulations attached hereto as attachment A, and incorporated herein by reference, all of which stipulations have been agreed to by the owner applicant. Further move that this recommendation is conditional upon the applicant's submittal of a final revision of the development plan reflecting compliance with all items set forth in the statement of stipulations prior to the consideration of this application by the board. And if that submittal does not fully comply with the same, the recommendation of the zoning commission is a denial of the zoning application number ZON-20-03 of Kerbler Farms LLC / Kerbler Builders. Further move that the zoning secretary shall certify a copy of this resolution to the board. I think we need a second.
Yeah, do we have-
Second.
I think that-
Motion made by Mr. Todd Dove to recommend conditional approval zoning application number ZON-20-03 of Kerbler Farms LLC / Kerbler Builders with the stipulation stated. Second by Ms. Alt. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hey, is there any way that Michelle and Adam can stay on for just a minute?
Yes.
Or does it have to be a separate call?
No, we have a couple other items too, Todd. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
My bad. Oh, we have meeting minutes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can stay on, no problem.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
I know it's the favorite time of minutes. Sorry.
All right. Necessary evil.
So I do have 4 sets of zoning commission minutes for the board's consideration this evening. Hopefully, you all had a chance to look over those. See.
All right. So is this the 1027? Yep, 1027.
Yes. I have a couple comments, and I just need to tell. I haven't told Cindy Davis, our zoning secretary, that my title has changed, so I will do that. And just for the record, Cindy, it's Development and Planning Director.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I read that too and try to think, and there must have been a reference to A and B or A and something.
Oh, I listened to it again, Todd. You said J. It was referencing certain sub areas. So,
Okay.
So line 142, the question marks is the letter
Yeah.
J, as in.
Yeah, I try to think about what I said, but
No worries. On line 540, the word R was, there's a typo on that. And then line 564, Holly Maddie, there's an S at the end of her name. That is not needed. And that was all I had for the October 27th zoning commission minutes.
Okay. Any other comments for the 1027 meeting minutes?
Not by me.
nope.
I can get a motion.
Yep. Can I get a motion to approve October 27th, 2020 meeting minutes for zoning application ZON-20-02?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McNulty to approve zoning commission minutes from October 27, 2020. Second by Ms. Alt. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Then I have December 8th. That was our first zoning commission work session. Hopefully you guys find these minutes beneficial. I don't know. I have to check with our council if we really require these. I like to have a written set of minutes to reference. So hopefully you guys find these valuable.
I mean, yeah, These are also posted as public records, so people can
Yes.
go in and see them. I think, I mean, it's helpful for us, definitely, but I think it's really helpful for other people to go in and kind of go back and read through, especially, you know, the applicants and stuff. I know I use these a lot when I'm presenting to townships and cities and things like that. So I'm good with continuing the written minutes.
Okay, great. I had no comments on this.
I did not either.
No comment.
Yeah, no comments here either.
Not me either.
So can I get a motion to approve the December 8th, 2020 Route 23 Corridor Overlay District application number RCOD-20-01?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Mr. McNulty to approve zoning commission minutes from the December 8th, 2020 session. Second by Ms. Alt. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Okay, now we have December 15th of 2020 regarding actually this application we just heard, their initial hearing. On line 429, I think it was Todd meant to say I was dead set
Dead
against.
set, correct.
And then I noticed that there was a duplicate with the as far on line 435.
You go up to 400,
Oh, I'm
Michelle.
sorry. Yep.
All right. I'm thinking 400 is a minimum of around 1,200 or 1,400 square feet.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
1,200. Okay. Yeah, I assume, Adam, you didn't mean 12.
Yeah.
Be another Evans Farm where they said we missed a comma.
Yeah. That was all I had. Oh, I did have, whoops. Oh, no, that's right. Okay, I'm good. I don't have any other comments.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
No.
Nope.
All righty. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 15th, 2020 for zoning application number ZON-20-03?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McNulty to approve zoning commission minutes from December 15th, 2020. Second by Ms. Alt. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Alt.
Yes.
Great.
Hey, Michelle, real quick, just a technicality. Should these be approved as amended or approved as revised, or is that?
Oh,
Because
Yeah.
we are making some changes to each one of these.
we have. We can just for the record, the commission approved October 27 minutes as amended and December 15 minutes as amended, as there was no
Okay.
comments. But yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt to say that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, January 5th was our last work session. Oh, there was a question mark. Oh, you know what? I actually couldn't tell what that was, what she was saying. We might want to hold off on those, or if it's all right, I'll just put that one on to the next meeting. I need to see, since Christine's not here.
Okay.
So I think that's all. I do have a couple house cleaning items or housekeeping items. I wanted to introduce our newest zoning commission member, Sierra Harris. She's on right now. This was actually a very painless meeting, so thanks for tuning in. We welcome her on the commission, and again, we're sad that Todd, Dove, and Barrett all are leaving us, but I believe she'll be a great asset to our team.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And then also for the board members, we do not have a zoning commission work session on February 2nd, as we did not receive any new applications for the Route 23 overlay. However, I would like to propose the zoning commission for the February 23rd meeting date to have our new legal counsel host a training for us, as we've had a lot of board members join us this past year. And I think this is an entirely different board dynamic. So I think it'd be good to have an informal discussion, and we have a new attorney now, and I'll send out some information on that, but I hope all can attend the February 23rd. That's typically our regular meeting schedule, but we shouldn't have an application that evening. So I'd like to host a training, and then that'll count as a paid attendance too. So love to have you.
Sounds good.
When's that? The 26th?
That'll be the 23rd.
23rd.
And I'll send something out once I confirm, but I just wanted to let you all know. So I think that's going to be our next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
Great. And then Todd, if you wanted, Adam, I hope if you have a minute, I can hold that back, but I'll adjourn this public meeting at this point, since it's only 2 members that'll stay on.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody's comfortable with us adjourning the meeting?